where we welcome you to have your own radio show. Just call us at 313-868-6612. Block time is available. We're a versatile station, streaming on the World Wide Web from our radio station at www.fm881whpr.com. Walk with me down the hall to Studio B, where we broadcast live and tape our talk shows on UHF TV 33. Here's our main control room for TV 33. We also have a fully operational kitchen for luncheons and meetings. This is our brand new Virgin Islands studio, boasting live audio and video capabilities. Broadcasting live in the Virgin Islands over WVIE and streaming over the internet at radiowecansee.com. We can be seen and heard around the globe. This is our Virgin Islands studio waiting room and lounge. Stop by our gift shop to pick up your WHPR souvenirs. Our viewing room provides a comfortable space for viewing and production meetings. Our brand new remote truck allows us to produce cost-effective live productions from anywhere in the city. Adjacent to our Virgin Islands studio is our concert hall and meeting facilities. Also on site is our 199-foot broadcast tower. Let's talk about our movie studio, Studio A, the home of Studio 33. It's designed for video shoots, photography sessions, plays, receptions, rehearsals, and concerts. The facilities boast a 35-foot ceiling, a 15-foot garage door, and Studio A is 4,000 square feet in size, with 2 endless cyc walls, 3 portable screens including a green screen. Located at 166 Victor Street in Highland Park, we have gated and well-lit private parking also on the premises. For anyone interested in any of our many amenities, give us a call at 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Or email us at rjwatkinstv33@live.com. Henry Tyler, Vice President, R.J. Watkins, CEO.
Total Home Improvement Company presents the Spring Blowout Special of the season. Remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, plus flooring specials for every room. Call 313-728-2025 for your free in-home estimate today. Mention this commercial and get 10% off your project. Call 313-728-2025. Remodel your home today. Total Home Improvement, the company you call for your home improvement needs.
Wayne County Community College is a beacon of hope for so many people who can see the impact it's made and that we're celebrating the 50th anniversary and all the good that it's done.
It has been the pathway for so many to obtain a higher education.
Congratulations to Wayne County Community College for 50 years of service to Detroit, Wayne County, and all of Southeast Michigan.
Making education much more available and affordable. 50th year is just the beginning of the first century.
You're watching W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan.
The courtroom belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to the judge, doesn't belong to the lawyers, does not belong to any individual, but is an entity which belongs to the people.
Hello. My name is Attorney Deborah Geraldine Bledsoe Ford. That was my mother, the Honorable Geraldine Bledsoe Ford. She and my grandfather, Attorney Harold Bledsoe, taught me that the courtroom belongs to the people. When I am judge, the courtroom will belong to the people. I am asking you to vote for me, Attorney Deborah Geraldine Bledsoe Ford, for Judge of 36th District Court. A vote for me will ensure that the courtroom belongs to the people and everyone will get a fair chance.
You're watching W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33BY, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
This is a special report. Prodigal Son Productions are looking for all talented actors, dancers, singers, and models for a new TV sitcom, Fake Friends. You could be the next star from Detroit. Come and audition to be a fake friend or a real friend. Saturday, May 7th at WHPR TV 33 Studios, 160 Victor Street, between John R. and Brush in Highland Park, Michigan, from 2 to 6 p.m. If you would like a chance to showcase your talent, come to this audition at WHPR TV 33 Studios, 160 Victor Street in Highland Park. That's Saturday, May 7th, from 2 to 6 p.m. We'll see you there. And now we return to regular scheduled programming.
Great morning to you, rise and shine and up and at 'em. It's an amazing new day. Such a pleasure to be with you on this beautiful Thursday morning. I'm doing my proverbial curtsy. You all know that is what I do because I'm so excited to be here with you today on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. And if you didn't know by now, I am the Collette, your hostess, Collette. That is me. It's such a pleasure to just be able to breathe. God's grace is amazing. And so I just have to give honor where honor is due. And, you know, sometimes you go through life and life things happen. And at the end of the day, you can sit back and say, thank you, God. In the midst of everything, thank you, God, because it's life and life is a journey. And part of that journey, you have to make sure that you are in great company and that you continuously have collectively good conversation. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to engage in some great conversation. It's a hot topic Thursday. There were several different items that were kind of, you know, maybe plaguing me, if you will, kind of gnawing at me, poking at me over this week. And I said, you know what, Collette, if you are having questions, maybe your company is having questions too. And I consider us a company, so we're together. It's mutual. It's two. We're in agreement that we are in this together. We're in this love together. Remember Al? Was that Al Jarrell? Okay, we're in this together. So I need us to collectively have this conversation on this morning, and I'm going to give you our call-in numbers. But before I do that, I just have to say an amazing morning to our CEO, Mr. R.J. Watkins, and you know, I consider him the CEO as well, co-team. It's what it's about, Mr. Henry Tyler. And our amazing team here at WHPR TV 33. So happy as well for all of you who tuned in last night to Urban Kush. That is the other side of Collette. That's on 88.1 FM. That is also still on WHPR. And we talk about everything and anything as it pertains to the business of the marijuana industry. So if indeed you'd like to stay abreast of that, you are more than welcome to tune in to me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. on 88.1 FM. And you also can catch us streaming live as well. So that's 88.1fmwhpr.com. And I tried to make it at a time that was beneficial because you're getting ready for Empire. I know that you are, and everyone is excited for Empire, as you should be. I don't want you to get caught up in quote unquote the antics of the characters in Empire. I'm encouraged by the notion that a black family has amassed wealth and is owning a business empire and collectively work together to keep that going. So out of all the other antics, that I missed with that. I like the concept of business, African Americans in business, showing us in business. So the business of marijuana happens before the business of the record label or fashion or whatever it is that you look at that show for. But make sure you tune in to me. All right. So this morning, I'm going to give you the chance to call in 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, and 313-868-4336. I want to thank all of you as well. If you are streaming in and watching us, good morning to you. I appreciate you. We appreciate you because, of course, you could be anywhere and you have actively chosen to tune in to TV33, whether TV33 or Comcast or on the web again, or Roku, whatever it is, however you got to us. Thank you so much for being here. So there's several things that have been happening in the news this week. And I really want to know if you've thought about it, if you care about it, what your opinion is to it, how you believe it has impact, or if it has an impact or will have an impact on our society, and if you kind of think about us being in the space of a nomadic society. So when I say nomadic, I mean nomads, wanderers, not necessarily identifying with something, a chaotic environment that then perhaps causes you to implement certain actions that you normally wouldn't take because it's an issue of survival. And as we acknowledge the homegoing, the passing of our own Afeni Shakur, the mother of Tupac at 69, I am reminded of Tupac giving an analogy about those who are hungry and less fortunate. So he said it starts off if you have the castle walls, and initially the peasants are going to come up to the walls and they're going to sing very nicely. We are hungry, please let us in. We are hungry, please let us in. And after a couple of times, if that response that they get isn't favorable, then he changed his tone and said, they're going to say, hey, we're knocking in, kicking in the doors with our guns blasting. So the concept is that by any means necessary, we're going to secure whatever it is that we need to survive in order to survive. I said it, survival, not living, but surviving. And so I'm going to present that to you today as the underlying tone for the conversation. Again, do we know how to live? Or are we just surviving? So we're going to throw out a couple topics. We know that our own President Barack Hussein Obama was in Flint, Michigan. Yes, he has arrived. He finally arrived in Flint, and it was at the bequest of a young lady who asked him to come. In addition to preparing for that trip here, there were some requests that our governor meet with him as well, with some other elected officials, a new representative from the Flint region as well, state rep, and to have the conversation about what is happening in Flint, how to move Flint forward, and the like. I want to know from especially those residents in Flint, and Dr. Bell, good morning to you. I know that you are tuned in. You're a faithful listener and to this station, and we appreciate that. What do you think about it? What was the energy of the president being there? There was an article that states that he said, quote, I got your back. Flint, I got your back. So, do we really know what that means? Did you or have you asked yourself when the president of these United States says, I got your back, what does it mean? So does it mean that I'm going to be that drum major for justice and have the conversations and incite the powers that be to identify funding for you? Is it more so the conversation or the rhetoric that one would have to say and be expected to say in a time like this when the infrastructure hasn't been completed in Flint? I bear to question if anything has even started in the development of Flint. And what does that look like? But he's coming in to be able to have the conversation. Now, do you believe that there's some authenticity in that? Are we getting towards election time? Because the next conversation I'm going to pose to you is Donald Trump. Now, we had this conversation about 6 months or so, and everyone thought that, he was the long horse in the race, that it was just a buffoonery tactic. Oh, can never happen. He's all these things. But are you surprised that as of right now, Ted Cruz has bowed out? Kasich is bowing out. So it appears that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee. And based on news from our sources in the Michigan region, that Michigan Republicans are gearing up to support his candidacy. So everyone, and callers, I see you all. Don't hang up because I'm going to get to you. We need to be able to converse. So does that mean that we're preparing for Donald Trump as a president, as the president of the United States? Is that what you thought? Is that what's happening? So did you equate that to President Obama coming in to Flint to be able to maybe rally the troops, create an excitement, create a source of hope, and then we will say, okay, the Democratic Party is moving towards solutions, viable solutions for Flint. As all parties, whatever the affiliation is, should have been moving towards the cry of the atrocity for our brothers and sisters who are in Flint. As all parties should have been moving towards fixing the educational crisis with funding as it pertains to DPS that has had a 2-day sick out because of funding, mismanagement of funds. And then we're looking at administrators in the public school sector who have taken monies. Like, is enough enough? Are you wondering, are we just nomads? Are we looking? Remember, Tina Turner had a movie, it was Beyond Thunderdome. And some of the words of the song were, we don't need another hero. We just need a way home. All we want is life beyond this. So have we thought about what our lives are really looking like and how others are shaping the perception and the landscape for who we are and what we're going to have to manage? Have we turned it? Is it the real conversation of the lesser of two evils? So do you believe that everyone will rally from a Republican standpoint around Trump because he is the Republican candidate? Or will everyone cross a party affiliation and say, well, guess what? I can't manage him. I can't think about him. I can't stomach him, and then go for Hillary? Or the likes of those who are felt the burn of Bernie Sanders and don't care for her as a candidate. And so then what happens? I mean, just where are we? And then do you think that this is the best that America has to offer? I mean, maybe that's my real issue. Is this the best that America has to offer? And are our lobbying firms, those who control the purse strings, creating such a position for the citizens that you really don't have a voice anymore? I'm just asking. I think a lot of different things. I try to make sure that I am aware of what is happening in this world and how it impacts us. Because I believe that if we are in a position of education, we can make the best decisions for our lives. And as we discuss on this show, it's all about education, empowerment, and enlightenment. So I'm going to go to the phone so we can have some dialogue as we begin the conversation. So let's see who's on. Thanks so much for your patience. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I think I got it. Now I had on speaker, I'm sorry.
Okay, sure.
When I seen Obama come there and did the same thing that Snyder did, drink that water.
Right.
Indicate the people to go on and drink it. He ignored there's a psychological effect when the whole city is partisan. The only way they psychologically will feel free in drinking that water, they would have to fix the infrastructure that you mentioned.
Yes.
They would have to replace all the pipes and all the things necessary for the psychological aspects to the human being to be satisfied.
Okay.
He disregarded that. And when I seen him getting lumped of the consequences of suburbanization, when they made all these suburbs and it was independent political tax unit,
Okay.
none of them can fix their infrastructure and sure it's rotting all over America, all around in Michigan, all these little suburbs.
Yes.
The infrastructure, and they don't have the tax base to fix it. But to put that, to lump that in his speech with an intentional act to poison of people by not doing the proper stuff, that lets them off the hook. That's the same thing that Snyder done. And to him to wait that long to go over there when he went to when there was crisis of shooting, to wait that long, it was kind of, to me, a disgrace, what I've seen of the president.
Okay.
And like he has been doing throughout his campaign, he's been patting his behind at the black community ever since he showed total contempt.
Okay.
But the other question, when you talked about Tupac.
Yes.
When Tupac, when he talked, he was talking about how a group of people will be nice, but if they don't have, they will be nasty to get what they want.
Yes.
That's what, when you had a discussion like that recently, and I mentioned it, that number one, those conditions are worse today than they had slaves. That those conditions that the young people in today, they don't have food, they don't have shelter, they're living in empty houses all over Detroit, in Chicago, and all over major cities because of the governmental policies.
Yes.
And those policies are suburbanization and the immigration and small business administration policy, where they took all the factories, all the business out of the cities where blacks was at, and then they brought and financed a retailer who happened to be an immigrant. So when you don't have a job in your own neighborhood, you got stealing. But when I noticed something, Collette, when people come on the station afterwards with their brilliant analysis, they always, when it comes to social problem, when you see problems, the same problem in Detroit, crime by young people, and the same all over, they come on telling us about I, me, and my, what I didn't do when I was young. And those are two different conditions.
Yes.
And that's what I want to just say, that when Tupac was talking, he was talking about us and a group, and we. He was talking about a group of people.
Yes.
And when you see a group of people act certain ways, and you started, like I hear a lot of people say, there's no excuse to steal. Well, that's like saying there is effect but no cause.
Great
and
point.
There's a cause to everything. And if there's a lot of crime, and you see it everywhere, and you don't like crime, you wouldn't just talk about what the criminal did. But the criminals did. You would want to say what making the criminals in Chicago, and Detroit, Alabama, doing the same thing. So I just hope I want to share that with you. It's you're talking, and lest we talk about Tupac, what he was saying about these conditions that's common in every black community across this country, and just talk about the crime. Then I think that's why and I hear it on 33 quite often. I think we come up short. We would never be able to solve crime. And the last thing on that, I'd like to let people know. I see group crime. I'm not group crime, individual crime. I don't see organized crime. And when I see that individual crime, and I see 300 men walk and say, we're going to take back our neighborhood, I know it's not real, because you know why? There's 2,298 streets and all those streets run miles. So if individual is time bombs walking around because if the condition has made them desperate, then I don't. You can't stop that. You got to fight the condition, and I think that's what Tupac always talked about.
All right. I appreciate the conversation. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Continue having an amazing day. I mean, everyone, he makes some great points.
Okay.
Thank you. And other callers, I see you. I'm about to get to you all. So, I mean, think about what the caller just shared with us, that we have to start addressing a collective condition. So collectively, if we are dealing with crime in the city, why are we having to deal with crime? Well, crime is what? A product of what? Not having the shelter, as he mentioned, not having the food, not having the employment, not having adequate housing. So desperate situations cause for desperate measures. I mean, I'm going to throw this out here too, and callers I'm about to get to you. So I need to know also, if we can put this in the mix. So what do you think about the marijuana industry? Michelle Alexander, brilliant woman, the new Jim Crow, did a piece on the onset of Colorado securing legislation for marijuana. And she so adequately stated that white men are going to make money off of the legalization of pot, and black men will continue to be imprisoned. And I want to know what you thought about that. White men get rich from legal pot, black men stay in prison. So, to the caller's point, he had me thinking, in America, once now there is an idea that revenue can be had off of marijuana, individuals who are spending time, who are black and brown people in this prison system, is based off of having in possession quantities of marijuana. But now it's legal. So now we have individuals across this country who are making millions upon millions of dollars now within this legal arena. So is there some contradiction in that? Are you wondering what is happening to the black and brown folks who are imprisoned due to this? Is there a change in legislation? Is that another cry that we talked about, having conditions in which we couldn't take care of ourselves and then dealing with something which, of course, the outcome of getting caught and prison time is now legal? So how does that have an impact on our societies and our communities? I'm going to throw that in the mix. So thanks so much for your call. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Good morning, my woman of God.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Lee Bell.
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you? It's great to hear your voice.
I am in a mixed bag place. Let me get a few things off my chest.
Okay.
As of late, I have found myself becoming very pessimistic.
Not you, Dr. Bell.
Yes.
Oh.
There is a silver lining to that pessimism, though.
Okay.
I am aware of the pessimism.
Gotcha. Yes.
So I can correct the course.
Yes.
And there is a place in this journey for you, Miss Ramsey.
In the correction of your course?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Okay. I accept that.
Okay. Now, let me get the negative out of the way.
Please, let's deal with that.
I was not inside during the address yesterday.
Okay.
I was outside on the perimeter with my people.
Okay.
Standing in the rain, enthusiastically awaiting the president's arrival.
Okay.
Great energy, a spirit of community,
okay,
a show of love for our president.
Okay.
The people I had on the inside reported back that the president delivered a great, enthusiastic address.
Okay.
That included
Dr. Bell? Oh, Dr. Bell? Are you there? Dr. Bell? Okay, if you call back, we'll get to you because I think we were all waiting with a bated breath as to what was going to happen as we were waiting for the president to arrive with a wonderful spirit and energy of hope. So please give us a call back, Dr. Bell, and we'll definitely get you back on the line, okay? Caller, thank you so much for your patience. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning. Good morning. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Good morning.
Hi, my name is Debbie.
Debbie, good morning.
Yes, I'm a host of Families and Children's Justice on the show
Oh,
of
great.
WHCR.
Wonderful.
And I
Welcome.
enjoy you so much. You just so professional.
Oh, thank you so much. And congratulations on your show. I definitely have to check you out.
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday at what time?
3:30 to 4, or sometimes I may have it from 3 to 4.
Okay.
But what I'm calling for, I didn't get to see all of the president's speech, but I heard him say something about me the water.
Okay.
And did he drink the poison water? The lead water?
Great question. Now, I saw the picture. There was media that created the quotes that said, the president coughed and said, "Can I get a glass of water?"
Yes.
And I saw the glass of water, and the water looked like it wasn't clear. And like you, I wondered, was there was a symbolism in that? Did he actually drink the water? Was he trying to make a point? Great point. Hey, I'd love to know. Anyone, if you were in the building and could actively tell us if the president did drink the glass of water in which he requested, we'd love to know. Debbie brings a great point.
Because a friend of mine said, well, he probably drunk the water to say the water's okay. And I said, that's a bad thing. Because then you're saying that the governor, you siding with the governor almost, like saying, well, it's not that bad. The situation is not that bad because I'm drinking it.
Right.
I don't think he should have drunk the water.
Right. If he did, great point, because he might have gone to where you're alluding to as well, is that, you know what, it's as simple as if I'm speaking and coughing and need some water, that I should be able to get something to quench my thirst and know that it's going to be safe.
And the second point I would like to make.
Please.
Well, South Carolina on different, kind of a different conversation on.
Okay.
Okay. Marijuana should be decriminalized, but if a mother have marijuana in her system when she gets ready to deliver her baby and it's in the baby's meconium, then that's when the hospital will call protective service on her. So it should be decriminalized, one aspect, but then if a mother uses it, her child can be removed from her.
Great point.
It could be removed.
Could be removed.
On who's the social worker and her director in their decision. But most of the time they take, children away when parents have drugs in the system.
Okay. Well, you know what, Debbie, you give a great position, and I'm going to actually identify some individuals from Child Protective Services. I think that is a great conversation to have, that based on the legalization now of medical marijuana, in 3 states now recreational marijuana as well, if an individual is using and are in the state of pregnancy, what does that look like? And especially if they have clearance from a physician.
That's right.
Great point.
And not only that, you see the part where they decriminalize marijuana if you have a certain, I guess, an ounce in your home.
Yes.
Too. And then, okay, so you did it in that aspect. Then the same thing goes with a parent if she's smoking the stuff around the home.
Okay.
And you can't get in trouble with the police because it's 1 ounce, but you can still get in trouble in another aspect.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So we're talking about great points now, because those, and I think that's the first caller that had alluded to those societal components that we have to be able to address. And it's not just one way or the other. So I definitely am going to engage in that research so we can come back and have that conversation, because you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because you can't say now that it is decriminalized and legalized in one area, and then that same individual who perhaps goes to an employer situation has to perhaps go undergo a drug test, then shows the substance in the system, could be terminated, just like the mother giving birth could have the clearance for it, but it still looks like there's an injustice to the unborn child, and then just in the house with your daily activities, having the use of the substance for whatever your ailments are, but then could have recourse as well for the child and the like of going to school. So those are great points, and I'm definitely going to look into it for us so we can have the conversation. Are you still there? Oh, I lost you. But thank you so much for adding to the conversation. I'm definitely going to be able to circle back with that as well. Thank you so much for your call. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Thanks for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning, my woman of God.
You're back. This is good.
Yes.
Okay. So you had us waiting, Dr. Bell. We were holding our breaths in hope of the excitement and the energy, and then continue. Please.
As I was saying, the president delivered an excellent lesson on civics for everybody in the audience, especially for Michigan's governor, on how government should work.
Okay.
Now, the president lost cool points with me in his water dramatization.
Great. Now, I don't know if you just heard prior to taking your call, Debbie called in, and we were all wondering, with the cough and the asking for the water, did he actually drink the water?
Well, let me say this.
Okay, please.
The first place he stopped and wanted some water, it was a place that had just opened a multi-million-dollar food preparation operation.
Oh.
So they have state-of-the-art equipment.
Right. Filtering, yes. Gotcha.
How many homes in Flint have access to that?
Correct.
The second place where he coughed and asked for the water was a local high school.
Mm-hmm.
The students have not been in session this week.
Ah.
The school has been cleaned up.
Right.
The bathroom's been spiffied.
Right.
The waterlogged tiles have been removed.
Right.
So the students will not recognize the school this morning.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Now let me get to the positive piece.
Okay. Wait, Dr. Bell, that's all you had for the negative?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Now, following the address,
okay,
we had a focus group with some folks who were in the audience.
Okay.
Along with some funders.
Yes.
And the mood amongst the participants were very hopeful.
Okay.
The people in attendance were people who are affected firsthand by the water.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are attempting to help the citizens.
Okay.
Now, they're very hopeful. These people have rolled up their sleeves.
Yes.
Decided to take an active piece in moving our community forward.
Yes.
The funding source that was in this meeting told us they don't do a lot of work in Flint, but they have our backs.
Okay.
And to stand up and be the powerful people and the powerful force that we can be, and to engage and lead this recovery.
Okay. And so you identified that as the positive note?
Yes.
Okay. Now, and I don't want to, I'm going to put it out there, I'm going to say it. I think all that conversation is great, and I think I commend everyone who has rolled up their sleeves, who every day, all day, championing what needs to be addressed in Flint as a crisis, as an atrocity to human beings, and as an insult on living. I understand all of that, but I'm tired of the conversation. I don't understand why it's hard. I mean, I'm just referencing an article where the Senate okays $128 million in Flint aid, despite signs of fatigue. I don't get it. I mean, why is it so hard, Dr. Bell? What's the holdup? If everyone is saying, okay, have hope, the money's here, we're going to fix this, we got your back, what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that these folks who work for us have lost sight that they work for us. And it's time for the people to put the power back in our hands. We have organizing strategies. We have some schools getting ready to happen so that our people know and feel the power. It's a revolution.
Okay. So
it's now or never.
So two things for me. Stay right there, Dr. Bell. Okay. I need you to help me understand this. So it's two things. So we have the grassroots. We have the everyday individual who is diligently working to address and champion the cause. And then you have elected officials who, and I wish I had the names because I would call out the 3 Republicans who had opposition to the additional $128 million because I don't understand how they think that $67 million is enough. But at the end of the day, I need them to connect. I need, if all this money has been approved, where's the $67 million that was approved in the emergency crisis? Where'd that money go? Do you know, Dr. Bell?
It's still in the state coffers. And this is one of the biggest things we've got to do, and I'd like to tip my hat to Representative Conyers and Brenda Lawrence.
Okay.
They are crafting legislation to do away with the financial manager law.
Okay. And I appreciate all that, Dr. Bell, but in the midst of it, you still have tainted water, unhealthy water, poisoned water in Flint.
Yes, we do.
So, I mean, that's and everyone, if you are in an uproar like me, we need to figure out something else. Because if the monies have been approved, why are we not digging up the ground right now? Why aren't pipes being replaced right now? Why aren't homes being help me out, you know the word, they're being refitted with the pipes so that clean water will be able to pass through? I mean, why are we still having this conversation? Why are we caught up in the conversation and people are still suffering?
Because this is uncharted territory for many of our people.
Oh, Dr. Bell. So
the burn is talking about a revolution, and that's what's about to take place.
Well, something has to happen. And so maybe that goes back to the onset of talking about Tupac Shakur and saying that at the end of the day, something is going to give. Because if I'm this frustrated, and forgive me, I really don't have the right to be frustrated because I can turn on my water and I can drink from the spigot and I can take a shower and I don't have those issues, quote, so I think. So if I'm feeling the angst, I know nothing compares to what you and fellow Flint residents are going through, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the conversation. I mean, if there's an elected official out there that can let me know what the holdup is, or let us know what the holdup is, because if I'm doing the math, if we had 67,000 and we had 128, I mean, we're looking at $200 million. 67 million. We're looking at $200 million. I just need to know where the money is. What's the problem? And would this be happening if we were in Birmingham, or if we were in West Bloomfield, or if we were in Farmington Hills, or if we were in Rochester Hills, or come on now?
Let's make a date.
Okay, what is it?
A date for you and I to get together and talk.
Oh, absolutely. I'm coming up to Flint. I got to do some stuff. I'm going to come up to Flint.
And at the end of our conversation, there will be some action, direct action.
It has to be. I'm tired of I so appreciate the format here for us to be able to have the conversation, but there's supposed to be action outside and in addition to the conversation. That's like having protests without policy. But at the end of the day, people are still susceptible to poison water. This is ridiculous. So, Dr. Bell, I appreciate you. I got 2 other calls I got to get through. So, thank you. But did you know if the president actually drank the water?
Well, my whole reason for saying what I was saying, if he did drink the water, it's not the water we're drinking.
Gotcha. That's all we had to, that's it, Dr. Bell. So I appreciate you. Let's figure out some dates. If we can make something closer to Snoop being there around the 20th or so, I can either come in before that and sit down, or earlier that morning or the day prior to, okay? So let me know what your schedule's like.
Sounds like a plan.
Always a plan. Got to have a plan. We appreciate your conversation this morning.
Continue to be amazing.
Thank you so much. You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, we're having the conversation. Are you thinking callers? I see you all. I'm about to get to you. But these are the things that we have to talk through. We're looking at a presidential election that's coming up. We're looking at the rhetoric of candidates. And, are they just saying what they think we want to hear? And at some point, are you fed up with that conversation? Or have you just become immune to it? It's just like, okay, I really don't want to hear that anymore. And before I get to the callers, I just want to thank you. I got mail. I'm so happy to get mail. Got a letter from Happy. So appreciated. I'm going to delve into this information. I just wanted to acknowledge that. So thank you so much, because I just appreciate the time that you took to reach out to provide me with information that will, of course, enlighten my conversation as we continue to converse. So thank you so much. Had to acknowledge that. So I'm going to go to the call, but I just need, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's a lot of stuff happening. I'm going to add one other component before we go to the line. What did you all think about a conversation at the White House? There's a comedian. Did you hear about that? I'm scrolling through to get to the article. Larry Wilmore. So he did a monologue at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Okay, did you hear about that? In which he used the N-word to the president. Did you all hear about that? Did you think it was appropriate? Did you think it was funny? Do you understand why he did it? So the New York Times is stating that it was a provocative monologue at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Saturday, and it's still reverberating through Washington. Beginning in the opening line from Mr. Wilmore, he told the guests that they're at Negro night. The comedian brought his deadpan style of political racial humor to the White House, to Washington's Hilton Grand Ballroom. In the closing line, he literally called the president the N-word and in essence said, you got it done, because I never would have expected you to be the president of the United States. Do you have an opinion about that? Do you care? Is that a means to change the tone of the word? Was it just buffoonery? I had to add that in. So let me go to the line. Thanks so much for your patience. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. A lot of things are happening this morning, but appreciate and want to hear from you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First, let me say you introduced that comment about the comedian and the president at this event.
Yes.
In our culture, maybe you're too young to know about this. It's called playing the dozens.
Playing the dozens. Okay.
You sit around and you throw stones that are not stones. Talk about your mama.
Right.
Talk about your father. Talk about, and it's a game. It's a laugh, to see if you can get a rise out of somebody.
Okay.
Okay, set that aside. What I saw with the president, it was like this movie about sharks, where this had this great white shark, and he was prowling a New England neighborhood, the seas. But the only revenue was that when you had tourists come in the water. And so they were afraid to go into the water because there was rumors that there was a shark out there.
Okay.
There was an official that came and brought his family and his children, and they were going to be the first one to show that it's safe.
Okay.
It's safe. Now, there were children out there that put on a ruse and had a fin swimming around. There was a massive stampede to get out of the water because everybody knew this was dumb.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I saw with the president. Now, I didn't see the speech.
Okay.
And so what now? The other thing, you talk about marijuana.
Yes.
There's a lady in California, they call her the weed lady. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't refer to it as marijuana. She refers to it as cannabis.
Cannabis, yes.
Okay. Now, and she is a senior citizen.
Yes.
And this is another vehicle, probably known through whatever that. Now, it wasn't just smoked. It was used with senior citizens for pain.
Yes.
It was used for other things.
Yes.
Cannabis.
Yes.
There were different forms of cannabis.
Yes.
Okay, now she's fighting a movement to introduce this. Now, what is that a problem with? You can grow marijuana.
Correct.
But you have to buy barbiturates and all these other chemicals to get rid of pain.
Yes.
Who loses?
Great point. Great point.
Okay, that's all. Who loses?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, I had to put this out there.
Okay.
When I was in grade school,
okay,
I had a gym teacher that sat down, and we had a small class. These are all Black Americans, I mean Negroes, whatever you want to call.
Okay.
I went to a school that was all black. This was in Detroit now.
Okay.
But he asked a question. He said, how much money do you think you're going to make in your lifetime? Okay. Now, how do you make money? You exchange labor for money, and you use money to buy resources to either live or survive. That was your other question.
Yes.
What do you need to survive? Well, you need at least three things. You need food, shelter, and there's something else. And but you need those two.
Yes.
You need good health, too.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how did people get it before then? There was hunters and gatherers. Now, we've moved beyond that. We've got industrialization and all this other stuff.
Yes.
But there is a limit to how much money you have in your lifetime to exchange for the resources that you need to live with.
Okay.
If you think about that. Okay?
Yes.
I mean, because everybody doesn't have the same skills. There are good farmers. There are good hunters.
Yes.
There's good. There's people that read a lot.
Yes.
Know a lot, but they can't grow anything. They can't feed themselves.
Right.
How do they survive? They have to exchange what they have for what they want.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you do as a government or as a people, whatever, you isolate people that they have no growth, no way of achieving. What have you really done? Okay, now, I just thought, you said a conversation.
Yes.
Those are my thoughts going forward that I have accumulated.
Yes.
The other thing is that, let me say this.
Sure.
When I said about how much money you think you're going to make, this was during the time that people knew about, what do they call it, the actuaries. But the government or people know how long you're going to live.
Right. Right.
So if you make the numbers that you can do it with Social Security, but if if you make the numbers of you're going to live this long, then I can sit down and tell you what I think your worth is. I can put a price on your worth because you no longer will accumulate monies that I need, that I want, not need, I want.
Right. Right. Great point.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I'm throwing some stones out there.
No, they're great. Absolutely.
When you say,
I'm catching them. I'm catching them. That's great. When you talk about your life expectancy.
When you say about the infrastructure and how they have to, and you say, they cost $69 million or whatever millions worth it.
Right.
The problem is, or the situation is, who can you exchange money to do the work? Since especially you don't know how to do the work.
Okay.
And if the price is not right, the price goes up.
Right.
Because what do? You there's two things that have been done in the past. You either enslave people and make them do what you want them to do and don't pay them. Or people you just don't get what you want and it doesn't happen.
Right. Interesting.
I'm going to hang up.
I love it. Love it. Thank you so much. And other two callers, I'm going to get to you guys, but did you just hear about the conversation? That's what I'm talking about. That's what we wake up for on Thursday morning. So you just think about it. Absolutely. He said, I remember playing the dozens. But do we think that we now play the dozens in front of everybody? Then our mamas used to tell us at some point there's certain things that you keep at home. Is it okay to say the N-word in front of everybody? But those of us might argue, say, well, we say it anyway. So why not say it at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? I get it. I mean, great conversation. Loved it. And for marijuana, cannabis, absolutely. There's an article in the New York Times that talks about the increase with seniors smoking, using edibles, using oils for pain, for ailments. I mean, I can give you a list if you tune in on Wednesday nights of all the treatments that cannabis is used for in society, right? And so Walgreens, if I didn't say it before, just did a quote on a blog that talked about the medicinal use of marijuana. I'll be willing to bet you in the near future, Walgreens will be filling prescriptions for marijuana. Watch it. Remember, we're going to say that we had the conversation right here on Coffee and Conversation because it is the business of it, and they have to be able to work to meet the need for, as the caller just talked about, the bottom line is the revenue to get what they want. Life expectancy. Absolutely. Are you all thinking? I'm engaging. It's working. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much for your patience. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
How you doing today, Collette?
Amazing. How are you?
All right. First, let's give a shout-out to R.J. Watkins,
Absolutely.
TV33, everybody else down at TV33, J.D. Hill, yourself.
Thank you.
Great show.
Thank you.
DJ A-Mob International Hip Hop.
Absolutely.
You made a couple comments out here, so I'll try to go over a couple quickly.
Please.
The first one is about the Flint crisis.
Yes.
And one of the things that's now been established is that there are surrounding cities around Flint that water is good. Mm-hmm. And there's never been publicly known a place inside the city of Flint where the residents can go shower. Meaning you would think out of a city of over 50,000 people, there would be some place that we would know that the residents of Flint can go shower.
Yes.
Okay? And so when you were talking about the pipes, the thought came across was if some of the residents or the people in that area were willing to put in the manpower hours to lay the lines, because that's one of the things is everybody want to get paid before they do something.
Right.
As soon as they find out where the money is, then they can go after the money. But then when they go after the money, they want to make sure they get paid.
Yes.
I'm saying out of 50,000 people in that community, plus the surrounding businesses, plus the city, state, and county employees, that line should have been done up from January 1st to May 1st. If it wasn't about who's going to pay for it, how's it going to get done? Because out of a city of 50,000 people, and that problem's been established over a year, there should be a place inside of Flint, whether it's just one line that has fresh water for the residents of Flint. So I feel you in saying that there's some rhetoric or there's some BS that's going on in that community.
Okay. I got it. And we're actually looking at about 100,000 residents in Flint, but I got you.
I like to go from a factual. I know it's between 80 and 120, but I know it's at least 50,000.
At least.
And see, the thing is, the problem that Flint has, whereas it's an entity that's controlled by our government.
Yes.
But our government is controlled by the people that live in our country. So we have residents that feel that state regulation or government laws dictate what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
This goes back to Detroit Public Schools.
Okay.
Meaning, I made a comment to you this year, January 1st, it was Detroit Public School teachers that decided not to show up to school. Right. They didn't let nobody know.
Right.
But the parents and the kids in January this year went to a Detroit Public School building and couldn't get in.
Right.
They did not know they couldn't attend school. So it was 15 degrees outside.
Right.
These teachers did that 4 or 5 times this year. Now, ever since January 1st, they did the first walkout.
Okay.
So right now, we know about principals taking kickback.
Right.
We know about millions of dollars coming up missing.
Yes.
But as soon as it came down to these teachers might miss some money, they weren't going to show up at all. So I'm tired of hearing these people that's benefiting from Detroit Public Schools talking about they doing something for the kids or they're about their kids. But who suffered? The kids do. There's no way in the world, no teachers, no administrators knew about them principals not buying books, not buying toilet paper.
Right.
It's not possible.
Right.
I can't feel that some of these teachers, the ones that say they're for the kids, when they see the stuff that was going on, none of them spoke up. None of them, stepped out the realm. None of them jeopardized their job. None of them came out here as a snitch to, where they
know about that. Right. Right.
But right now, though, but when the first they said that they weren't going to get no money for the summer, they did not care about these kids that walked out. So I feel that we need to change the mindset of Detroit Public School or the educational system in our community. Okay? Because you don't see no other schools where teachers just walk out on the kids like they do here.
Okay.
Do you?
I haven't. And I'll do some research to see, but I actually haven't.
Let me just say, the research when you hear about some teachers going on strike, May. Right. This is May. This is like prime time. I've never heard of teachers going on strike in May.
Let me just say this much, and other callers I see, and I apologize, I don't know if I'll be able to get you before we wrap up. I want to believe that the issue with the teachers is not that they are not concerned about the well-being of the children. That is what I want to say, I believe. I believe that it's the business of education that is the fight here. That is just my statement on it, but we can have the conversation, and I know actions speak louder than words, so I get it. I get it. So I appreciate your call always, 8 Mile. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to get one other caller in.
Everybody have a happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone, I'm so sorry. I'm going to get one more call in, and you got about 30 seconds, okay? Let's get it. Thanks you so much for your patience. You're on Coffee and Conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, Collette, Deputy Chief.
Deputy Chief, good morning.
Hey.
Look,
a couple weeks ago, you made the statement that we're processing ignorance.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I did.
And I agree with you.
You did.
Okay. They say we need 790,000 valid signatures to get rid of Snyder.
Correct.
The Detroit Teachers Union said they got 3,700 members.
Okay.
If 3,700 members took each one of them took 25 petitions, that's 1,110,000 signatures.
See, Deputy Chief?
Why are we running around here holding a conversation?
Come on.
Same thing.
Yeah.
The teachers, Wendell Anthony sat on the pension board of the General City Workers.
Okay.
Cut their pension. He agreed with the team that cut their pension, took their annuities.
Okay.
Okay. But the teachers meeting at his church.
Okay, so Deputy Chief, this is what we're going to do. You're going to table that until next week, okay? I'm going to open up some time for hot topics. I'm always considerate about who's next in line and what the teamwork looks like. So I'd be remiss if I kept on talking. And I want us to have this conversation. So please call back next week. We're going to open up the top of the hour with our ability to continue this conversation, if that's okay.
Fantastic.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And I still owe you a call as well. And caller, I see you. If you can call, I'll get you back first time next week. Everyone, our time is up. Thank you so much for the conversation. I want to wish all of you a happy Mother's Day. Every day I consider Mother's Day special to me. Shout out to my mother, LaVon Denise Ramsey Evans. I love you with all of the essence of me. My sister, cousin, Maria, Elaine, you're an amazing mother to me. And to give a shout out to little Sydney and Nora and Sarah. You guys are my heart. Appreciate all the joy that you give into my life. So everyone, have an amazing rest of the day as you enter into the weekend. Have an amazing Mother's experience as well. And until next week, we're going to continue the conversation. Make sure you stay in good company. Thanks so much for tuning in.
You're watching W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan.